So great, we got to talk about you. Now we get to talk about my favorite thing, me, right? How do I do it? A couple years ago, I realized I wanted to start putting out content to the world. Did the wine show for 5 years, then I was building the agency, being an investor, being a speaker, so I was out of the game and I started missing it. So in the summer of 2014, I started a show called the Ask Gary V Show, where people would ask me questions on social media, specifically Twitter and Instagram, and I would pick 5 random questions and answer them in video form. What happened next is super interesting and I think could bring some value to some of you, and I'm hoping that my example brings you an understanding of how to produce a lot of content, because a lot of content is the gateway drug, is the variable of your success as a leader in your genre. But it starts with the content. Before you get it out there, you've got to transcribe it into all forms: audio, video, visual, and written, to make sure you're hitting everybody in the way they consume content. So you put out the podcast and then you transcribe it. You write the written version of what was said on the podcast, so you can take 2 of the things that were written there and you put them on Medium, one on your own blog, one is a long form post on Facebook, right? Another thing you can do then is to find a picture, make sure you legally use a picture, and write over it and use a quote from that episode and put that on your Instagram. What you can also do if you're creative and a designer is you can then make an infographic and post it on Pinterest. If you're creative or have the capabilities of making a deck, you go to SlideShare, make a deck of that episode and you put it on SlideShare, link it to your LinkedIn and get it out in the B2B world. These are all the things you have to do to DJ your own content to create more content. My friends, let me make it perfectly obvious right now. There is no excuses in this if you want it. If you want to change your life, if you want to have the audacity to be a thought leader and a voice in a category that you're passionate about, it comes at 2 expenses: your time or your money. And for me and many others, both. And so if you don't have money, time is your arbitrage. And just because maybe you like listening to podcasts but don't like video doesn't mean they don't. And for you to hit the biggest group of people you can, you've got to create your content and make it work in all mediums.